Hi, we are Julie, Dick, and Abby. In 2023, we sold our condo, had an estate sale to get rid of most of our stuff, and bought a van. More specifically, Boxy the van, our used 2022 Winnebago Travato KL, and we've been sharing our adventures with you ever since. In our last video, we explored Virginia, Philadelphia, New York, and New Jersey, and now we're continuing our journey north. Good morning, let's make some breakfast. There's mosquitoes out here, so I've got long sleeves and all kinds of repellent on, but we're gonna do the best we can out here. And a citronella candle to maybe keep some of these bugs away. My pretty new knife. That is a sharp knife. This bread smells so good. Since I happen to have this brown sugar creamer, I think that's just perfect for adding a little creaminess and sweetness. Wash this.
Yay! Oh, it's got peaches on it. How fun! Thank you.
I ran out of battery. Okay, let's try that bite again. It's pretty darn good. So that's breakfast in the forest. After breakfast, I worked on videos all day while Dick relaxed with Abby and took some footage of the nature around us.
What's the matter? Oh, sweetie. Stop eating grass.
show you my office today. Since we're in a more secluded campsite, we didn't bother putting all of the shades, sunshades, the privacy screens into the cab here. So it's all nice and open and bright. And then I have great view. Oh, there's a water in the way. He's hiding. He's hiding. There he is. There's Abby. Later in the afternoon, we took Abby for a walk to take in a little more of the scenery before we'd be leaving the next morning. The next morning we headed for Vermont and we drove right past Connecticut, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire. We might have wanted to stop in some of these areas and spend a little more time, but there happened to be a deadly mosquito-borne virus that was going around at that time, the EEE virus. It was all over the news and my mom was super worried, so we decided not to spend too much time in the places that happened to be in the news.
Yeah, we're in Vermont.
When we arrived at our next harvest host, Macintosh Hill Maple Works, we were met by Don, who welcomed us and gave us a tour of the property and his operation. First, we headed up to this tree-lined pond, and he offered to let us stay there closer to the water if we wanted. He even had a fire pit available to us if we were interested. We arrived a little too late to enjoy all of that to its fullest, but I could absolutely imagine spending a beautiful sunny day there if we'd arrived earlier, perhaps even taking a swim. As we walked, he pointed out the vacuum tubes that connected thousands of trees to his sugar house. He told us that having the tube system saved him hours each day of manual harvesting, and I can only imagine. Those tubes were everywhere. Can you imagine just going from tree to tree and pulling out the sap as opposed to having a system that sends it directly there? Amazing. Next, we visited the sugar house. Now, we were past harvest season, so there wasn't any syrup coming through the system right then, but he talked us through each piece of equipment and he walked us through the process, and it was just really educational and really cool, and it just showed his passion for making this beautiful product that he makes. Finally, the moment I'd been waiting for, we were able to purchase some syrup. So we've got this bourbon barrel aged, beautiful light Vermont syrup in this cute bottle. And then we're gonna bring this one home to Mom and Dad. It's a nice dark. Later, I made a quick chicken and veggie rice bowl supervised by Mom. Okay, there it is. Then we took a short walk with Abby and turned in. Good morning. We're still at the harvest host that we came to last night in Vermont. This is Macintosh Hill Maple Works, and we're about to head out. I think maybe if it's warm enough, we'll go get some ice cream and put some maple syrup on it. We'll see. I don't know. We'll do something cool with the maple syrup. I think you're ready to go for a ride. I'll take that. Thank you. Coffee. Coffee. Wait for me. We might go to the Ben and Jerry's headquarters. That seems like fun. I think that's what we're gonna do. They open at 10, which is pretty soon. Okay, bye. Randolph, Vermont. We'll be back to Randolph because this is where our campground is. No, thank you. Hi, pretty cows. So if you ever do come to the Ben & Jerry's, make sure you check out the Flavor Graveyard just on the other side of the parking lot from the factory, featuring discontinued Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Are any of your favorite flavors in here? You ever feel sad about the fact that they discontinued a flavor that you liked? You can know that homage has been paid. Let's go. It would have been fun to book a factory tour, but that's just not the sort of thing that we can do with Abby waiting in the van. So we just perused the displays and spent a little bit of time in the gift shop, and it was all great. It was enough to just check out the great vibes here and come away with a little treat. We got perfect ice cream to go with our maple syrup later. Yay, yummy, yummy.
Yum, 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 I'm an ice cream monster.
Next, we searched for a place to have lunch, and we found Tyme Brewing Company in Stowe, Vermont. We were able to park there and enjoy a short river walk with Abby before we sat down to enjoy the environment and delicious food and drink.
We're on a bridge.
We're on a bridge in Vermont. That's where bridges are. I believe they would have allowed her in the outdoor area, but she's still not quite well behaved enough for that, so we kept her in sight nearby. She's just right there. Yeah. One great feature here is this garden, this healthy garden, which is not only a backdrop to the outdoor seating area, it's also a source for some of their menu items, and it was gorgeous. Now it was time to drive back into Randolph to find our home for the next couple nights. Champagne. This place was amazing. We pulled into this great spot with electric hookups that was half in sunny lawn and half in the trees. The amenities were really nice too, and the grounds were gorgeous. We even found a dog park so Abby could spend a little time off leash for a change. What are you doing? Once we settled in, we were finally able to break out that ice cream and syrup, and it was delicious, just as you would expect. What do you think?
Good. Pretty tasty.
Yummy. Then we pretty much relaxed for the rest of the day.
Cutie, call Abby.
Abby. Abby girl.
It's okay. This is the glamorous part. You gotta clean it.
Before I can put it face down. So there's not too many big oily chunks that are gonna catch fire in the flame.
The old workhorse. I just called the D850 the old workhorse, and then I swung the camera around and pointed at you, so I don't know if that's
Not
appropriate.
cool. Not cool at all. That one's too big. I better eat it. Ow. So we just have to add more. Hey,
Hey.
shush. Crumbling. Oh God.
What happened?
Spider's back.
What are you doing here, buddy? Get out of here. Go back to your home.
Most important part, the reason we're having them. I don't blame you, Bee. It's very sweet. Here you go, sweetheart.
Thanks.
It was a bit overcast the next day, which wasn't such a bad thing since I wanted to get some work done on the computer. But we did take Abby for another walk around the property to see what else it had to offer. Aside from the rolling green lawns and the beautiful lake, there were also some great dry camp spots in the wooded areas. So really, this place has a little something for everyone. Next, we began our journey to the coast, stopping in New Hampshire on the way. Here we stayed at another harvest host, Northwoods Brewing Company. This place had plenty of space to park at the back of the parking lot next to a meadow. It was such a picturesque spot. On such a lovely summer evening, I couldn't resist getting some photos. We stopped in for some pizza and beer, and we loved it so much that later, right before bed, we went back in to get some more appetizers and beer. Really enjoyed it. Let's go get some pastries. And maybe coffee.
You can get as many as you like, but...
Okay, I think I'm gonna have the maple bourbon and one of the raspberries. Thank you. I was gonna say that this looks really good, but I already know it's really good because I took a little piece off here already. It's delicious. This is a spinach feta scone. I'm gonna take a little bite off of it. Sure. So good. Isn't that good? Well, all the other harvest hosters have left Northwoods Brewery. We're gonna be the last to go this morning. Just got some pastries, and we're sort of slowly packing up to get out of here. Today we are going to Maine, and we're gonna stay at another harvest host that has seafood, and I think we're gonna get lobster rolls. Let me try some of this. I'm on my tippy toes. I don't have a tripod, I've got it just on the table, so. Ow.
No.
Better light. So good. She said there's a little maple glaze drizzle on top, so you have a tiny bit of the sweet and salty going on. But I mean, there's tons of spinach throughout. Oh, it's so good. Oh, here we go. State Line, Maine. Vacation land.
Vacation land. Hey, how'd they know we were on vacation?
Yay. Next stop was a harvest host in Freeport, Maine, Mainely Seafood. Now, lobster is a big weakness of mine, so I could not wait to try a Maine lobster roll from Maine. And they didn't disappoint.
I know it's rude to show your food half-eaten, but we were so excited to get these lobster rolls that we ate them before we took any video. Oh my God, they're so good. Maine lobster in Maine.
Perfect. After lunch, we took a little walk around the neighborhood of Freeport, which was pretty bustling for a Monday. I popped into the impressive LL Bean flagship store just to check it out while Dick hung outside with Abby.
Did you read that, Abby? There's no such thing as a poop fairy.
What do you see out there, Abby? You're vibrating. Abby, it's okay. It's just a squirrel. Yesterday we had a great lunch here. We got a nice Harvest Host parking spot. Over here on the other side of the van, some squirrels are making Abby crazy. Good morning. It's a beautiful morning in Maine. We are in Freeport. We're in Freeport, Maine. We stayed at Mainely Seafood last night at a Harvest Host. Hi. It was a parking lot stay, but it was really, the food was great and the neighborhood's really cute. So now we decided that since we're gonna go a little further north into Maine today, that we would do that by taking Highway 1. Now, we're familiar with Highway 1 on the West Coast. This is a whole different vibe. We're gonna go ahead and go up the coast. We're maybe gonna see a lighthouse or two, and I'm excited. We're continuing to explore New England and the East Coast. This would be a fun place to just chill.
Yeah.
Lobster rolls.
Wander around and try the food, get the views.
That.
You can walk across the bridge. Seven-eighths of a mile. It's rough and there's large gaps. Don't walk it in bad weather. There's no restrooms. There's no trash. Okay, you ready?
Do a lighthouse, sweetie.
Let's go to the lighthouse. So cool. It's there's some big gaps. See? Very big gaps. On a whim, we decided to stop at the Rockland Breakwater and walk out to the lighthouse that was there. I guess people often ask if the breakwater was built to connect the lighthouse to the shore, and I've looked into it. The answer is no, surprisingly enough. In fact, the breakwater was there first. Apparently, several buildings and boats had been damaged by nor'easters back in the 1850s. So in 1899, the breakwater was built. Several storms proved that it needed to actually be raised a little bit, so a 4-foot high cap was put on it, and the foundation for a lighthouse was built in 1901.
Well, we came all the way to the end of the jetty, and now we can't see the light in the lighthouse.
After our somewhat treacherous walk on the breakwater, we were both in the mood for some fish and chips, and we were delighted by Hill's Seafood Company overlooking the harbor. So good, and the ambiance was so perfect. They even had a little sign reminding us how far from home we were. A little bit of a drive, and then we were in Schoodic Woods, which is a part of Acadia National Park.
Get busy.
On our first night, we just took Abby for a short walk and stayed in. The next morning, Dick and I made our breakfasts outside.
Heads.
Give you a face. That one. As you can see, Dick is having his sous vide and hash browns.
Delicious.
And we're gonna sit down and have a meal together. Here's my salmon, my little salmon bites.
Yours looks good too.
I'm trying to cut down on my breads, and I'm failing miserably. Yesterday I was gonna do that and we had fish and chips. So it's a little bit of cucumber with some cream cheese and onion and smoked salmon and a cherry tomato on top. My little bites. It's one of my favorite breakfasts. About 2 miles to get here.
This is one of those rare national parks that allows dogs on hiking trails, so after breakfast we took advantage of that and we went on a short hike that overlooked Winter Harber. It was beautiful.
Look at the ground. All this moss. It's so gorgeous. talking to you. Here in beautiful Schoodic, there are other campers not too far away, but it's really nicely divided by a lot of really healthy trees and whatnot. Okay. Let's take Walkie for an Abby to the trash. We're gonna take Abby for a walk to the trash cans. Sunset at the bathrooms. Sunset. Look, it's my favorite kind of Christmas tree. Oh, I love them. It's like a Douglas fir. Abby. What's the matter? What is it?
Good time to eat.
She heard you.
Are you hungry? You hungry?
After enjoying the calm surroundings of Schoodic Woods, we once again hit the road and headed a little bit northwest this time to a place called Cathedral Pines Campground. We only stayed here one night, but I could absolutely see spending more time here if we lived closer. We got a spot that was real close to the lake, and the lake was so gorgeous. We were pretty tired and I hardly got any footage, but I couldn't resist at least getting a few photos of that lake when we arrived and a few more the next morning. And then we were off again for the next part of our adventures. Any guesses where we were headed? Thank you for watching to the end. While we hope we can grow this channel, we so appreciate those of you who are already here. Please like the video and subscribe if you can. That kind of interaction definitely helps us. Otherwise, until next time, stay healthy and stay happy.